Hey guys, welcome to our final. So here's the final folder here. Let's pop in and get started. So we start with a quick write on life, because that's the direction we're going with our last narrative. So the quick write says, what are the most important things in life? You'll write a list of the most important things to you and then pick the most important. And you can choose more than one and explain why you think they're the most important. So before you write, always think about this. We get caught up in silly things, and then a crisis arises. And then during the crisis, we realize that the most important things are not things at all. Often we realize that family, friends, faith, values, and experiences are what really matter to us. So, your job is to, before you write, think, what do you spend most of your time doing? Who do you spend most of your time with? If you had to leave the country, what would you miss most? What items are important to you and why? What can't you live without? Why? So after you've thought through these questions, then write. Your answer should be a list of 5 to 10 things, as well as 3 to 5 sentence explanation of the most important things in the list. So it's a brainstorm list along with an explanation that's 3 to 5 sentences. So that's your quick write on life. Next is the instructions. This is your final. Our final is on the important things in life, and your assignment is to write a short story. It could be a nonfiction narrative from your own life, or it could also be fiction that answers the question below. Your story will use both plot and character, just like the midterm, as well as dialogue, figurative language, and mood. So, this time, the short story's length is 500 to 600 words. Again, it will need to be focused on just a few minutes in time, and can be real or made up, or a mix of both. So your narrative answers this question: what are the most important things in life? You can think about a crisis, adventure, experience, or issue in your life that caused you to rethink and see what's truly important. If you have trouble thinking this through, it's pretty fun to think of it that way. Was there a crisis where you did COVID help you to see what's important in life? Did you ever, I know when I dislocated my shoulder when I was in college, before the dislocation, the only thing that seemed important to me was snowboarding and learning new tricks and progressing and filming. And after I dislocated my shoulder, I just was so much more aware of everything that was really important in life. So that was something that opened my eyes. So think that through. And this is just a video instruction, so please take the time to read through these. Read through the whole instructions so that you understand the whole thing. Remember, this has to be a completely original story from your own mind, and you cannot use the last narrative you did in this class. You need to include dialogue to move the story forward and reveal characters. You need figurative language, including simile, imagery, simile, metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, oxymoron, or hyperbole. You need at least 3 of those. At least 3. And then also you'll need mood. And that's created by using, remember, setting, imagery, tone, and diction to clearly create the vibe. So, have fun. Here's the rubric, slightly different than the one we used with our midterm, because now we are focusing on mood, on figurative language, as well as including dialogue, like the last one did. And then we have the classic beginning, flow, and professionalism. So this is the overview. Next is step 2, that's your brainstorm. The brainstorm, of course, involves lots of steps for you and lots of examples. So let's talk about this. Your instructions are to use the examples and guidelines below to brainstorm ideas and answers to the question. The point is to think of at least 5 stories. Just think of 5 that you could write, and then you'll narrow them down, but think of 5. Decide what you'd want to write and help others think of what to write. And you'll post your 5 story topics in the comment box below. So, based on this question, what are the most important things in life? Think through these topics. What's a crisis that causes people to reevaluate? What kinds of adventures help you to think of what's truly valuable? What life experiences have you had when you discerned what was truly important? I remember one time I went to Guatemala. I was 17, and I saw the poverty in which these kids lived. They had the same outfit every day. They had the same galoshes with holes in them, and they were the happiest kids in the world. And it really made me think, what is important? What is valuable? And then, do you want to write from your perspective, or do you want to create a character? Do you want to create a world? You also want to think, do you want to use ideas from movies, books, TVs, and comics, or stories you've been told, or your own life? And I missed one in the middle here. What issues in the world, nation, or in your home might cause you to rethink and see what's truly important? And you can use the journal that we did earlier about social issues. Keep those in mind. So here's some ideas to guide you. It could be an injury, difficult situation, a problem. It could be a crisis in your life. It could be maybe you've gone on a hike or bike ride or camping trip, something, some trip you went on to cause you to see something different on the journey. It could also be because you were part of nature, you thought differently than you did back when you were in Greeley. A positive experience with a friend, close family, or even a stranger. Just someone randomly being kind to you. An unexpected act of kindness you did or was done for you. Or a meaningful conversation with a wise person. Any of those could spur you on. So here are some examples from my life. Feel free to read through those for possible options. I did 10. You only have to do 5. You do 5 here. Write it in the comments. That's step 2. Step 3 then is your story startup, and this is just like our midterm. So you're going to write the first 2 to 5 sentences of your story in the comment box after brainstorming where you want to go with 1 through 5. So this time you actually are going to answer 1 through 5 and include the start to your story. So you'll answer 1 through 5. Number 6 then is what's the first 3 to 5 sentences. Here are the 5 strategies that we talked about at the midterm for how to start a good story. And here's an example that you like what would be posted. I've got the answers here for 1 through 5, as well as the first 2 to 5 sentences of the short story. So, number 1 is who are the characters, where and when do the events take place, what are the characters trying to achieve, what obstacles will they have to overcome, what happens in the end. So those are what you're going to tackle in 1 through 5. And again, 6 is actually writing the start of your story, and you're going to use one of these 5 strategies. So 3 is your story startup. That leads us to step 4, which is your plan. You have this worksheet here, the handout, as well as an example to fill out and plan your story. So this is like a step-by-step plan that helps you be more specific and really think through what this will look like so that you don't just jump into a story not knowing where you're going. So this is kind of like an outline. Which leads us to step 5, which is your rough draft. Make sure to share that ASAP, probably with Carolyn, as I will be on maternity leave. And then last thing, peer edit your rough draft. Happens just before the final draft. Whoop. And your final draft, all I did was break down the rubric here into just the highest scoring section, what we're looking for with a beginning, a mood, figurative language, dialogue, beginning and end, and professionalism. So that is what your final looks like. One little highlight from the peer edit rough draft. The comments are the same that they were from the midterm. So you're looking for 4 comments. The first is what are the strengths. Then you're looking for areas to improve. Then you're highlighting good dialogue and underlining great sensory details. So you're still looking for those same 4 things in your peer edits. Keep that in mind. Use those edits to, and also with the rubric to create and submit your final draft. That's your last assignment. That's the last thing that's due in this class. So, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot Carolyn an email and enjoy. Have fun with this. Oh, one thing I forgot to point out. You do have an example rough draft down here, an example narrative, and this is if you go to Tools, Word Count, you can see that this one is 640. The goal is to be between 500 and 650, I think, words. So this is at the top of the count. But this short story is a great example of the narrative that is guided by dialogue, and that includes all those things. So make sure to read the example rough draft here in the rough draft, step 5. All right, well, that's it. Enjoy.